come together. Woo. Get my stuff. Okay. Hi everybody, it is Tips and Tricks Tuesday. We are already to Tuesday, February 6th. And of course, February, turn this a smidgen. February is National Embroidery Month. I had a ruler. And so in honor of that, we're kind of focusing on machine embroidery for our tips and tricks this month, which is great for those of you who either are just want to have more information about it, don't know anything about it, whichever it is, we're here to help with that. I'm still getting my things ready. So today we're going to kind of do a 101, right? So machine embroidery, what is it? Machine embroidery is where you have a machine, a computerized machine, that you can upload your designs via USB or a printer style cable to your embroidery machine, and then it's going to stitch it out for you. There are many different kinds of machine embroidery. You have simple stitch things that are stitch dints that come out like watercolor paintings. Beautiful projects, right? You have things that are applique, which is something that we're going to work on today. And then you have things that are in the hoop. We do quite a bit of in the hoop around here, but specifically today we're going to do a sunbonnet. And in the hoop, no, machine applique in the hoop. There we go. It's not that in the hoop is anything super duper special. It's just something. It's just another way of doing something. Your embroidery machine will have a set size to it. So most common sizes are 4x4, 5x7, and 6x10. Now there are machines that you can get much larger, and then there's machines, and usually the machines that do much larger will also do much smaller. Not that your 4x4 or your 5x7 wouldn't have a smaller hoop with it. It's just you don't see it very often as a get it with the machine. Now, I have to step to the ironing board. Hang on one second. Eventually I'll have everything in where you can see me doing it, but we don't have that today. So, so we've talked about hoop sizes. There's machines that can do all the way up to, I think 11 by 19 now is the largest hoop size. But what we're working with today is a 6x10 machine. We do have the 6x10 hoop in there. I have my background fabric. So the supplies that you need something. You're going to need your hoop, your machine, obviously. Those two things are basic. Then you're going to need the stabilizer that you're going to put in your hoop. And for today, we're using a cutaway lightweight mesh for this project. You can use, there are tearaways, there's cutaways, there are washaways. And each one has its purpose that it's designed to fulfill. So whenever you get that, because we're doing a quilt block, and a lot of times I will use, depending on the project that I'm doing, I will actually use most often a tearaway. But I've been known to use other things as well. But tearaway is my tendency to go to. Just because it makes cleaning up easier. That's it. And I don't want the bulk of the mesh in my seams. So, but right now industry standard is if you're going to be stitching onto cotton fabric that you would use a cutaway mesh. You also have a fusible mesh that you could put on the back. I don't do that. Like I said, we're going to cover my 101s. What I teach people whenever they came into the shop for classes and how it works best, or how I feel it works best. So I'm going to get this. So now we've got our stabilizer cut and trimmed and put into the hoop. Now I'm laying my fabric on the top. Now there's several ways you can do this. I cut my block oversized so that I know I can square it up afterwards. 2, you could use a fusible spray like 505 and put that on there, and that's going to hold it in place as well. And I can show you that. And that's what I'm going to use for today. And the biggest reason with 505 is you want to lightly spray. You should barely be able to see it on your hoop. And you can pull that away. You can use it with tearaway. Any of those things. Again, line my hoop up on my grid here. I can show you, let's see, unplug it real quick. My phone is plugged in because I forgot to charge it. It's become a thing here lately. Don't charge my phone. That's my whole plot in life. No phone. Okay. Tilt you down so you can see what I'm doing. All right. So I've got my hoop on my table. And I am lining up my marker points, which are these little notches here and this notch here, with the grid that I can see through my stabilizer. It's sticky. I am going to fold my block in quarters like this, and then I'm going to lay it down like so that my pieces end up where they're supposed to. Just like that. Okay. And then all you do, you sprayed it with 505. Now you're going to rub your hand over it. I am also going to tell the machine to do a basting stitch around it as well, so that it can, it will help hold the two work together. There we go. So we're going to get this started, and then we're going to go over a few things. I will usually do a printout of my design that shows the steps that I am doing, so that I know which step comes first, what color I'm going to need first. I've already done that with this. I don't have my stitch out with me right now. So, and then the machine goes, right? And so it's, what it has done here, it has stitched a cutout line. And so this line is where, this is the outline we're going to place our prepared fabric on. So, sorry, I was grabbing some scissors because we're going to need those next. And each OESD has a really nice scissor set, especially if you're going to do in the hoop projects, you're going to need a specialty scissor set for that. I have prepared my fabric. So this is the first fabric we're going to lay down. This is going to be a sunbonnet Sue with an umbrella. Anyway, so this is the first fabric I have prepared. And prepared meaning I put Heat and Bond Featherlight on the back so that I'm going to lay this on. It helps the fabric, prevent the fabric from slipping around on top of where this is. And then in a minute, whenever I pull this off, I'll show you the second reason why I do this. And so whenever we do that extra portion of the Heat and Bond on the back, what happens is whenever we go to trim out around this, because this is in the hoop applique, and that was the first had the outline stitch, placement stitch, and then this is going to be the was the tack down stitch. So it has tacked down our fabric here. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to tilt this down. And this is where your specialty scissors are super helpful and necessary. And I've got several sets here. I've got my Karen K Buckleys, which are curved and serrated. So it's automatically going to help lessen the amount of fraying you get. But especially used in conjunction with the Heat and Bond on the back, because the Heat and Bond helps hold the fibers together. And so because it does that, it keeps it together so nicely. Now, there are a lot of scissors on the market. These just happen to be some of my favorites because they have a nice sharp point on them. Trim off that thread. And I can get close without getting too close to my tack down line. All right. So that portion is done. We've got it all trimmed out nice and neat around it. You could hit it with an iron right now if you wanted to. I don't. I wait and iron it all at the very, very end. Okay. So now we're going to put it back on the machine. If you have any questions, just let me know. Be glad to answer them. And so now we're going to do the placement line for the next portion of this. And I'm just going to leave the thread that's on there because it's not going to show through. Now we're going to take our rain jacket fabric, again treated with the Heat and Bond, and Heat and Bond is just an adhesive. It comes on a fusible. It comes on the bolt. You buy it by the yard, and trim it off. to the right size of the piece that you're going to do. I am using a charm square for this because I knew that it would be more than enough for the sizes that I was going to have in this project. Okay, so you collect your fabrics, make sure that your embroidery machine has a nice fresh needle in it. Needles should be changed out every 6 to 8 hours. And that holds true with everything, even with embroidery. Now, if you start having stitch quality problems, then whenever you have, that would be a time to look to see if you need to swap out your needle. We're going to trim this again. I'm going to show that, how we do that. Okay. I'm going to show these. These are also a curved scissor. They're not intended for a left-hand person, but that's okay. I'll make it work. And then I'm going to use these to trim it up a little bit closer. If you don't trim close enough, then you have these little funky fabric edges that are then exposed. Okay, so done again. Now we're going to set it back up here because it's going to do the umbrella. So what's really nifty about this particular designer is she usually has all of her tack downs run first, and then her last thing will be the satin stitches. Sorry. Alrighty. So we got our tack down ready. Not tack down, our outline stitch. Now we're going to do the tack down for it. Oops. Got to iron it a little more in that corner. I missed it. Oh yeah. So sometimes whenever you iron it, it doesn't get fully tacked down. So just hit it with the iron again. So this is my umbrella. thread stitching. Okay, so we've done all that. Then it's going to stitch raindrops. So we'll change our thread here in a minute. So every step of the way, the machine is going to tell you what it's going to do next and how that is going to go. We actually don't have to change our thread because this is the same thread that went around the bottom. Is going to be our goes around the puddle at the bottom. It's also going to be our raindrops. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. We are using Floriani thread for this project. Our designer for this is Designs by Juju. This is from her set Sunbonnets Through the Year, I think is the name of it. If you head over there, right now she has a machine embroidery sale, design of the month, celebration sale for National Embroidery Month, and it's 10 sets for 15 or 18. I think it's 18. And all of her In the Hoop things are 50% off, which is really good. Trash away. So, and then, and there's many different ways. And so you have all these pieces left over. Those go over into your organized stash. Needles are important. So I use and recommend and use in all of my machines the Schmitz needles. So these are special for embroidery. And that's great for if you're doing like applique or if you're going to do just regular stitching. Those are perfect. Now, if you are going to do or more dense stitch out, or maybe it's going to go through something like leather, then you definitely want to use a leather needle or a non-slip needle for sure. Non-stick, not non-slip. You want it to slip. Non-stick needle. And those are not said for embroidery, but we do use them for it. Okay, so this would be what I would use if I'm going to stitch through clear vinyl, or if I'm going to use like a vinyl like this, like faux leather vinyl. If I'm going to use that for a bag for In the Hoop, I'm going to use a vinyl needle that is super non-stick. Leather needles you can also use for this. But that is determined by how dense the stitch is going to be whenever you put it on there, if it's going to work or not. And I always suggest that you would do a test stitch out to see if it does. Because the biggest thing is on the top, it will look great. But whenever you flip it over on the back side, then you will see all of these fuzzies and extra thread. And that is because it's not allowing, whenever the needle passes through, it's gripping the thread and it's not allowing it to slide like it should. I also use top stitch needles for some instances. Not a lot, but I have them. That's in my arsenal of things that I am going to use. So I have them in my box next to there. I also will use a paper tape, or because we do Kimberbell, I have Kimberbell tape to help hold my fabrics and things in place on here. So if you're not going to use heat and bond, or if you're working with, like, these are teeny tiny pieces to this little sign right here, I'm going to use tape for that. The tape is really great. You can stitch through it, tear it away. And the reason why I'm going to use tape is because my fingers don't belong there. It already comes pre-cut as part of this kit for Kimberbell. And so because it already comes pre-cut and it's so tiny, I'm going to use tape on it because I won't have the option of putting, I could put the heat and bond on the back of it, but it's so small that more likely to ruin my iron with getting heat and bond on my iron versus the piece that I'm going to do for this. And especially since this is a raggy stitch out, so it's supposed to fray. You definitely don't want to use the heat and bond on the back for that. So that being that, and I have the tape, I can show you the tape real quick. So this is it. It's just paper tape. You can also get it in the first aid aisle as well. Although I won't say how well it releases afterwards because I haven't used that. I just use this because we have this everywhere. So there's a lot of questions. Do you use the same color bobbin thread? Only if you want it to match, or if you're having tension problems, you can also do that. You're welcome, Debbie. Not a problem. However, I don't. So this one takes a standard size bobbin for drop-in bobbins, and I use white or whatever I have left over, because I make sure that the tension is the same and what it should be. However, for something that is going to be two-sided, so if you're going to make, let me grab this. So if you are going to make things like this, where it's going to wash away, so this is stitched in the hoop on a wash away stabilizer, and then you dunk it in water afterwards, and then the stapler will wash away. You want the same size because your bobbin stitches, same color, because your bobbin stitches are definitely going to show up. Let's see, my cactus needs to a little refresh. Okay, so now always listen to your machine manufacturer or your dealer, however. I was taught at a very young age in my embroidery era that I needed to snip up here and pull down, because it's very easy for your thread to get caught in your tension dials. So you snip here, pull it down and out, and just throw it away. The very, very, very small amount that you are going to throw away in there is not worth the purchase price of your machine or a repair bill. Doing buttons. Yeah. Right. Not buttons. These are the trim pieces. So that was how I was taught. Not everybody teaches that, and it may not matter anymore with today's machines. But because I've been doing it for so long, so let's see, what else? Does anybody have any questions? You might have answers. At the very least, I could say, well, I don't know. Hi, Linda. How are you? So, if you don't already, I am good, busy. If you don't already have an embroidery machine and you're thinking about getting into it, there are several questions to ask. Number one is the one thing I wish every person told any person that was interested in it, is that buy the largest hoop you can afford. Because the number one thing that comes along with embroidery machines is hoop envy. We always want a bigger hoop. Always, always, always. So this is a 6x10. I started out with a 5x7 because 5x7 was one of the largest that they had at that time for home embroidery. So definitely start out with as big as you have. The largest one that I have right now is a 9x14, and that goes on my multi-needle because I don't like to change threads. That's my thing. If I can stitch it without changing threads for as long as possible, that is primo. So, and you want to make sure that the dealer that's going to sell you an embroidery machine, or wherever you're going to get it from, is going to be one that is going to support you through that journey. So, questions to ask: do they have a great embroidery supply stock? So, do they have some of your favorite designers? Do they offer classes? If you have problems, do they have somebody that is on staff that is knowledgeable and is going to help you through this? Because this is a very fun and satisfying hobby. can lead to a business if you want it to, but it's not necessary. We're going to go that way because we're all different. Mine did. Okay, now these are going to be, hang on one second, darker shade. And is it easy for you? So find a dealer that's going to do for your machine, that's going to let you do a demo on it, stitch something out. Do you and the machine get along? And then the next thing is before your first class. So you're going to buy the machine, you're going to take it home. There's going to be a booklet. You can go to YouTube, you can go to our YouTube, you can go to many YouTubes, and somebody is going to have a tutorial on getting started. And the biggest thing I can say is not to be afraid and just use the machine so that whenever you're ready and you go to your first class, you know the questions. See, Dar? And you know the questions to ask and where you're having problems with and what you need help with whenever you get there. It always speeds things up to do it that way. Not just for the shop, but for you as well. Not all embroidery thread is the same. Not all machines like the same embroidery thread. So you have that element that goes in as well. Biggest machine you can afford. Best service that you can find. Does it do what you want it to do? Do they offer extended learning? So if you really get into this, do they have a great software person that's going to teach you how to use software to go with your machine? Because that's a whole nother kettle of fish, because you can make your own designs and have things that are just yours, specialty stitch outs, the whole shoot and match. I always have since we got it, is my software for monograms and those things, because it makes it a lot faster. Because it takes me to set up a monogram using the machine screen alone. It takes me, more than 5 minutes. And then is it the right size? Does it go together? And if it doesn't go together the way I wanted it to, then I have to go back to the home screen. And I'm limited to the designs that are on the machine. So if I have the software, then I am unlimited to everything. And in order to put it all together, I just have to type it out using the keyboard, and ta-da, there it goes. There we go. It is. It really is a love. And you can, I have done some things with my embroidery machine and not been able to tell the difference between that and hand embroidery from the top. Because there are some designers out there that do have designs that are like that. I heard a great thing today. So if you're in Indiana, Linda, in 2025 will be the first ever inaugural all-state shop hop. Isn't that exciting? I'm excited about that a lot. It is something that I have been working towards and wanting for ever. no, not forever, but for at least 3 years. So I'm excited to see that it's actually going to come to fruition. Flesh color. Her hand is holding the umbrella. The next thing is the number one thing that is underestimated is thread storage. It is going to be wonderful. I have heard it straight from Shop Hop Inc. that they're going to bring Indiana online in 2025. So if you're not familiar, I think, and I'm pretty sure that this year Michigan is doing theirs. You're going to get the whole state of Michigan in 2024. They did Ohio last year. So it's growing. So if you're Michigan, I know that New England has an area that is a shop hop. The Carolinas, Texas, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois. Maybe they're bringing Wisconsin. Oh, that is awesome. The rubies are very nice, Dar. And then Ohio, and I think Kentucky. Maybe I saw only murmurings of Kentucky. Anyway, all those states already have a all-state shop hop. So be on the lookout. Make sure whenever your shops announce that are closest to you, that you support them and encourage them to join with it, because the more shops there are, the more fun you can have, for sure. So, Dar, you have the 200 by 360. So that's a 8.5. No. 200 by 360. It's bigger than a 6 by 10, but smaller than, what is that? The 8 by 12? Okay. Yeah. My youngest boy is manipulating his brother upstairs. I can hear him. He said, "You have to give it to me, Noah, because Mom is on her live." He's a stinker. What color was that? Oh, this one. And then we'll pull her out here in a minute. She's almost finished. You can have a look-see at her. Linda, you got anything exciting and new that you're stitching on? Linda made last year. So this time last year, Linda was finishing up one of the shop's block of the month stitch-alongs. And whenever she had it quilted and finished, it was stunning. So she always has neat things going on. I'm excited. We've got a few things. There'll be pictures, some more pictures coming up of fabrics that are coming in this week. Yes, maybe next week. It'll depend. It's going to depend on things. If you are local or need long arm services, or if you want to mail it in, we're at a 2-week turnaround time right now. Not everything in embroidery is whimsy. Whimsy tends to be the side that I have some of, but elegant as well. Last year we did this one from OESD, and that was really pretty. We hung that up in the shop. And we also have Easter eggs, which are gorgeous, but I need to find them. Whenever we moved, I haven't found everything from moving yet. Mostly because I haven't got it all unpacked. Ooh, you'll have to share pictures, Linda. I want to see it. And then this is all you do. I usually have 2 or 3 things ready by the time the machine finishes its stitching. I'll have my next round of stuff set up and ready to go. Linda, I am almost finished with Journey. That's gonna be my big thing. I'll show the pattern, but I'm not gonna show the quilt until it's finished because it does not do it justice. I know. So it will be, this is it. I know that this is not embroidery related, but we're waiting for the machine to finish its stitching. So as soon as it's done, then we'll go back to that. And it'll be finished and quilted by the end of the month. That's barring any other catastrophes that might happen. Yeah, you hear it? Stitchy, stitchy. So 9 by 10. 9 by 11. Yeah, 9 by 11. What? 9 by 12. It is really pretty whenever it's all done. Journey is going to be. Oh, have fun, Margaret. It's fine if you're late. I'm gonna leave it up. It's gonna be there until long after, and then we will. I do move the videos over to YouTube. 9 by 16. Okay. It's the boss. The boss has arrived to oversee to make sure everything is done right. Yeah. It's gonna stop. Listen. Oh yeah. He is stinking cute. He started walking this week. We went from cruising on furniture to taking steps to now he's just walking everywhere, all within the space of like 3 days. Three days. No more? No more. Yes. You're the boss. So, he's growing up. No, that's not nice. It happens. Just a minute. All done. All done. All right. If you have the opportunity, OASD on occasion does virtual workshops on stabilizers and threads, and I still learn from them a lot. So if you have the option, the ability, they're free. You just have to show up. They usually have a really good deal on thread and stabilizers whenever they do that. So OESD does those. On occasion, Floriani will do one. But I know for a fact we've done several before through OESD. And if I have enough requests, I'll schedule one with them. Any questions? time with this particular machine, it doesn't grab at the very beginning. But it wants to start over. Hi. Criminal. Apparently. So, and I'll show this in a minute so that you can see it. Because it is an in the hoop applique project. Next week we are going to do, hang on, this out real quick because I got it written down. Notes to self, be prepared. Next week is going to be in the hoop zipper pouches. So that's going to be pretty awesome. Then what? No, not right now. Sorry. Wrestling match.
None.
Maybe, yes. I will be live on Friday night, Margaret. That will be my next live. You can always type in the comments, and I didn't get a note. I didn't send out because I'm not using my comment sold because I'm not really selling anything today. We're just talking. I did send out a notification. It should have given you one. Yes, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday. So, I forgot what I was going to say. I don't remember. No, you don't need any of that. Here. You too. Hey, give me those scissors. You don't need scissors.
I found it right there.
I'm sure you found it right there. It's my sewing spot. Yes, 9 p.m. I'm trying to work out on to do one more during the week, but I need you guys' input as to which day to do one. I would like to do something where we just mainly sew, or we can talk about finished projects or something. I'm not quite sure yet how to get it sorted out. It's almost finished. April. Right now we are just waiting for the machine to finish stitching. We started talking about machine embroidery applique. Since this month is National Embroidery Month. So right now we're just waiting for the machine to finish what it's doing out. The replay for the video will be available afterwards. If you have any questions about machine embroidery applique, any of those things, I'd be glad to answer them for you. Go over anything that you might have questions about. I am not doing any sales today. I do a live sale on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Oh, yay! That's awesome. What kind of machine do you have? Everybody wants to know. It's a thing in the machine embroidery world. We all want to know what kind of machine somebody else has. So let's hear it. A Brother. Which model? Brothers are super popular. I have my children use them now. A Brother PE 770 way back before there was color screens, and then a PE 440. No, PE SE something. One of those. Can you go find Carl a book? He's got one over there on the floor.
Carl, can I have one of your books? Carl, can I have a book? Here. Carl, can I have your math book? A math book.
No, not that.
That's not a math book. It's a boat. It's a boat.
It is a boat. It's not one of Carl's books. Hang on.
Carl doesn't want to look at me. Mom, you see that little toy with that on his hand?
Mm-hmm. Hi, Katie. Oh, that's okay with the Disney stuff on it. Awesome.
1, 2.
So what do you want to do? Everybody has an idea whenever they get an embroidery machine what they want to do on it. It's probably an Anubis or an Anovus. Anubis? Which one is it?
Carl, that's your book. No. I don't need that. I don't need that.
Okay.
I don't need that.
It is very addictive. I told her earlier, Katie, that hoop envy is a thing, to buy the biggest hoop that you could possibly get. So you're hoping to do a lot of like quilting in the hoop? End to end. Because it's not edge to edge. Edge to edge is on a long arm. End to end hoop is what they call it in the hoop, I think. Trim up my pieces. And then before I take it out, I'm going to hit it with a... See? There's April, if you follow the page, be sure to follow the page. We have several people that do a really good job and quilt like queen size hoop quilts in the hoop. There it is. Piece that went awry. All right. I have not attempted it, and I will be very honest why I haven't attempted it. It doesn't have anything to do with all having the long arm in the other room. I did a couple on the multi-needle, and it didn't come out the way I wanted. Well, we could all be taking that class together. I would be there learning how to do it too. I'm game for it. We can do it. It's possible. All done. Ta-da! Now it's done, and now I'll need to make 3 more. I'm gonna do 3 more. This is gonna be my April table runner or wall hanging. I did one that was St. Patrick's Day, so now I have one for April. Every time I start to think about them, I forget that I should do one ahead of time before the month. So I guess the next one I need to make is February. So I have March, which is the St. Patrick's Day one. April, which is... Yes! Absolutely! Do it! It looks way harder than it really is. Everybody can do it as long as they just sit down and do it. That's the biggest thing. Getting started and putting that first thing in the hoop and on the machine, that is step 1 through 5. The next 5 steps are so much easier. So that's what she's going to be. Maybe I changed the fabrics. I don't know. So that's today's tips and tricks. I guess I could say, if you have a little bit of wrinkling or something like that happens whenever you're stitching on cotton fabric, there are several things that you can do for that. You can spritz it with a little bit of water and put an iron on it, and that tends to relax everything and smooth it out way more than what you know. This is absolutely a place where a wool mat is helpful, believe it or not. You can, but if you do like the basting stitch around the outside of the design that I was talking about at the very beginning, I forgot to hit the button, then it absolutely helps keep all the fabric in place and prevents too many puckers. The basting stitch is a really long stitch. It pulls right out whenever you snip one end of it. It just whoop right out of there. Usually I do it, if I make the design, I actually even digitize that into my own personal designs. So basting stitch is your friend. What else, Benny? Anything else? So that's been my tips and tricks this Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we're going to do zipper bags and fun decor things that you can do in the hoop. I'll probably bring in another machine and set them up so we can do more than one thing at the same time. And we can talk about it. I don't have anything else. Oh, we'll have an embroidery block of the month that we're going to release that will start in April. You're welcome, Francis. It will start in April, but we'll release it the 1st of March. So pictures, the sample, all that stuff will be ready to go 1st of March for you guys to see. And then you can sign up for it. It will be a virtual class. I don't have enough room as we continue the remodel here. I just don't have enough room. Eventually, there's going to be so much room, and the shop is going to be beautiful and wonderful, but it will be a virtual Zoom class, so that actually makes it easier for some of you. You don't have to drag your machine out. I'll be right there to help you learn. So just turn your camera on, and we'll all sit there and party together. It has been great to visit with y'all. I'm Brianna, and this is Farmer's White's Quilt Shop. We'll see y'all on Friday.